So you turn to your partner, or the person sitting next to you. I don't know how you're going to do it. If I say turn to the person on your left, then everyone will turn left, and it'll be a disaster. I've done that before, it's rubbish. And you will extend your arms, and you will give an air kiss to both cheeks of your partner, and you will say to your partner with great sincerity, "Darling, you were marvellous." Alright, you're going to do this. Of course you don't have to do it, you can opt out, absolutely fine. In fact, quite an interesting opening session. We're going to have some questions shortly, but just to prompt us into the questioning session, just count down from 5. When I get to 1, turn to wherever you want to, arms outstretched, air kiss both cheeks, and tell them they were marvellous. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! We now have, what is it? You said it was the Jerry Springer moment. No, is it Jerry Springer moment. Where Irma, and I also should thank Theatre Forum and Irma and Tanya and everyone for inviting me here. This is a chance to just open this out a little bit. If there's something that's provoked you that you can fundamentally disagree with, if you have any questions, then there are microphones here, or we might even do with unaided with our voices. So,
if possible, it would be nice to do it into the microphone.
Oh yeah.
And if you can say your name.
That's good. Does anyone? Yes.
Hi, my name is Aoife Flynn. I was just really interested in what you said about visual art, because I work in an art centre that has a visual aspect to it, and I wondered if you had any thoughts about the relationship that visual artists do or don't have with their audience, and how that might affect the work that they create versus theatre actors and writers and people in that profession, and how they must think about their own audience.
That's a fantastic question. I mean, there is with visual art, the ultimate requirement from an audience. Because visual art will sit in a cupboard, or sit on a wall, or will just be there, and if nobody sees it, it doesn't exist. So what you as a viewer of visual art have to do is you have to actively bring yourself into a relationship with that piece of work. That piece of work will not start to sing and dance. It will not start cracking jokes or telling you, it won't start to tell you what to think. So you as an audience of a viewer of a piece of visual art, you have to stop, you have to make an engagement, you probably have to explore, sort of navigate a canvas, or if it's a three-dimensional piece of work, you have to navigate that. And there is a great excitement for me in terms of the energy that's required from a viewer towards a piece of visual art, because there is an integrity to an object. It's a great thing, and it's also a deadly thing with visual art, because the visual art object is the thing that can destroy one's understanding of visual art, because the visual art object often has a financial or commercial value attached to it. And that's a real problem. And if we could only remove commercial value from visual art, I would be really, really happy. It's much easier in theatre, because you can't buy me, do you know what I mean? You can't buy a live performance of a play. You buy a ticket, you have a little stake in it for the time that it happens, and then it's gone. Then it's worthless, it won't accrue any value. You can't leave a live theatre performance in a storage space and sell it for £10 million 5 years later. It's just gone. So two things: the integrity of the object forces an audience to have to bring themselves into a relationship with that work. And I think that's really important for theatre makers to think about. You know, to make a piece of work that requires an audience to be present. In this play, England, we ask the audience to see a huge amount, but we don't show them anything. So there's no set, no costumes. We are in a gallery, in the Hugh Lane Gallery in Dublin last September, and we request from the audience that they come with us. And sometimes they don't. But my God, that's much better than making a piece of theatre which doesn't make the request in the first place. Do you know what I mean? That can just... I think that's really key. I could talk at length about that, but thank you very much. Does anybody else have any questions? Yeah.
Hi, Jim. My name is Sarah Nivrian, and I saw England last year and absolutely loved it. And one of the things that came into my head when you were talking earlier was whether you have found in your work that the integrity of what you're trying to do is compromised by the need to market and promote and tell people too much about what it is supposed to be before ever they get there.
I have a little sort of defence. Yes, that's a great. I think I would be naive to think we can do what we do without telling people about it before it happens. I mean, my goodness, we have to do that. We have to do that. But what I try and do in the nature of the performance is have a little decompression moment at the beginning of each performance, where the audience leave this other space and enter this space, where I leave another space and enter this space. So when we start a performance, we are in the same space. And that's my little attempt to try and get rid of the past in a way. You know, I do feel that thing about, I mean, our sense of what we bring to a piece can sometimes completely destroy it. You know, I think about Jude Law playing Hamlet. How the hell can you go and see Jude Law play? How can you do that? You know, and then the reviewers go, well, it's very, very good. It was wonderful. And I go, but it's Jude Law. Jude Law. How do I switch that off? And of course that show sold out within an hour of it. Obviously, I understand that. Everyone's very happy at the theatre. But in terms of an unimpeded relationship with the play Hamlet by William Shakespeare, it's a real doozy. I don't know what to do about that. I have no answer, really. Apart from those, I put those little moments in where everyone suddenly comes together, and I always make a statement that we are here now, kind of. Yeah, yes, at the back.
Thanks. Jim Cullen from Fish Apple. Thanks, Tim. I just thought it was a great presentation, just in terms of what you were saying there about it being fresh and new every time you perform something. Obviously with an oak tree, the other actor is new every time and the audience is new every time. But I just wonder, with that, in the sense of you very much controlling and guiding the other actor through it, and also with England, there's a sense of huge control about it in the performance. And I wonder how much do you feel you've prepared for everything? How much do you, as you tour something over a number of years, how much do you change it as it goes on? Or do you feel that you have the ability to be spontaneous yourself quite a bit in the performance?
Yes. Well, here's some great stories. In England, I don't think it happened at Hugh Lane, but at the Whitechapel Gallery, we've had maybe 8 people faint it's not very good thing to say, is it really? Come and see a show and faint. And what's been amazing is they've usually been quite near the front of the group of audience, and so far every single one of them has been caught by either myself or Anna. And it is the most phenomenally exciting moment, because we're looking at you. The audience, I think, to a degree, sometimes think, oh, they're doing that kind of looking, they're doing that looking, you know, they're not really looking, and we really are looking. And so we see if someone starts to pale, we see if someone starts to wobble, and then we come forward and we catch them. And then we've organised with the gallery staff that there's a chair, there's some water, we stop the show, we see if they're okay. We had one fantastic situation recently where one of them, she didn't fall against a work of art, but she kind of crumpled towards it. And this is a play that explores notions of health and art, really, and the value of life. And it was the most brilliant bit in the play ever, because she nearly knocked against a work of art, which would have been great. But in terms of you're answering your question about liveness, that it becomes live if we focus out. Do you know what I mean? If we focus out. I have to focus out in an oak tree, because I don't know how that actor will be. I do not know what they will do from moment to moment. So I can't just switch off. I cannot go into an autopilot as the play. I do it this way, I do it this way, I do it this way, because half the cast is different, and I don't know what they're going to be doing. And so trying to legislate in performance for a sense of outward focus, I think, is really important. You know, I famously had an experience of working with an actor who at one point went through all the physical gestures before, this is in the wings, all the physical gestures that he was going to do in the scene with me.